Welcome to beautiful Puerto Rico. This is Professor Gustavo Rene Sainz, and my co-presenter, actually the one that put together the presentation, is Professor Bernabé Soto. Unfortunately, he had a meeting. He's our Director of Distance Education and Internationalization at this. This is the Inter-American University at the Aguadilla campus, or Aguadilla. And we are on the west side of Puerto Rico. That for me is the most beautiful part of the island. So always welcome to this part of the world. But in this time, I want to speak to you about a very interesting case that is happening right here at Inter-American University, Aguadilla. And that is the creation of a one-stop distance education department, which is incorporating also the internationalization aspect. So what I'm seeing here is the creation of this one-stop department. And I'd like to share with you some of our experiences here at Inter-American University, Aguadilla. One thing that we all share is the type of students that we have here. Obviously, we are a Hispanic serving institution, and our Hispanic students are like the rest of the students in the world. They are more than ever what Prensky called the generation of the digital native students. They have grown up with technology. They are expert in the use, especially of mobile technologies. So obviously, this creates new challenges for professors, for administrators, and especially for the departments of distance education. And this is what the presentation is about. How are institutions such as Inter-American University in Aguadilla adjusting to this new type of student who is demanding the use of technologies because they have grow up with them. Now, let me, okay, sorry. I'm not a native student, digital native. I'm a digital immigrant, but I've seen firsthand the evolution of distance education departments since way back when I started in this field, and the newest thing was video conferencing, using these big conferencing studios. But more and more, the institutions have been challenged to adapt new types of technology, precisely focus on this new type of student. And that is the case for Hispanic serving institutions such as ours. So what has been done by all of us? Well, we have to do a lot of investments in technology, a lot of platforms and technologies for the teaching and learning process, and even for every single aspect of our interaction with students, including student services. And this is how this evolution of the services of the all distance education department that I worked on years and years ago, which was more than just video conferencing. We had to change with the technology, and especially with the type of students that we serve. Now, in this change, the whole institution has changed, all of the professors, the teaching and learning process, but the leading departments in this change is the distance education department. It started, like I said, with a very focused project of interconnecting via video and via all communications lines like T1s that were very limited, very costly, and they were just kind of an exotic part of the offerings that the universities had. But now, as technology has evolved, distance education departments have become the epicenter of the technological changes. And that is how we have seen this evolution. And this presentation is to show the case of a group of administrators, and especially a group of professionals in distance education that have created a new concept in distance education department. In the focus has been not only in the technology itself, but especially in helping the teaching and learning process, the student and the faculty services, as you will see in this short presentation. Now, this is the building, a beautiful building where distance education department and internationalization is housed. And it reflects what students are, demanding from us. Not only the looks, but also the technology inside. And one of the most important parts, the professional level of the people working in distance education departments. And this is how I see it. This is what I see as the next step in this evolution of the distance education offices, particularly in Hispanic serving institutions. And I put in your consideration the case of Inter-American University of Puerto Rico here in Aguadilla. But besides a beautiful building, I said the heart of this department that I'm seeing firsthand as a professor here in the institution is the team. If you notice in the team, you notice their youth and how they really are part of this new generation. I think that is key, or that has been key for them. Number one, to adapt to the new technologies, and number two, to create this new type of service, what we have called a one-stop service for distance education and also for internationalization, because this is the uniqueness of this department. It is not only distance education, but it also incorporates the internationalization initiatives from the institution. And I think it's probably the best place to have these efforts. And of course, leading these efforts, we have these people who are experts in the technology and in the new services. My co-presenter is Professor Bernabé Soto, the director. Not only he is your academician and he's a PhD candidate, but he has taught online, during his career. So he has both the theory, the practice, and the administration efforts. Next is an old friend of mine here in Puerto Rico, Mr. Jose Morales. And Josue is more than your information system administrator. Basically, I've seen firsthand how Jose not only knows Blackboard, he, as you would say, administers Blackboard here on campus, but he also knows the student information system. So, and he's even has done work in the web pages and course design and faculty service. So you're seeing now how people like them, like Professor Soto and Mr. Morales, have this eclectic background in the technologies, in the services, and they're really part of this generation, and that's, I think, key as in this evolution of distance education departments. But very important is the academic support. And Mrs. Amarilis Velez, she is the academic coordinator who provides that support for students, first-hand support in choosing their courses, in even registering. This is really a one-stop operation where the distance education students call if they have an academic issue, a registration issue. They always get support from this team. And this is not a big team. Actually, besides them, there is another two full-time members, Mr. Candelaria and Mrs. Arroyo. And the last two, both Dr. Padilla and myself, are really faculty members who are in a supporting role. But once again, I can tell you, Mr. Candelaria, you'll see some of his work, especially in the mobile technologies, in the social networks, all of these new technologies where you can see how, especially for me, is very shocking to see how all of the technologies have been merged, and no longer we have like expertise in just one area, but in all areas, such as the Mr. Candelaria and the rest of the team. Now, Mrs. Arroyo provides a very important support. Uh, she is administrative assistant, and she deals, it's like at the front office. She deals day to day with students, with the calls, with faculty, but she also has a very strong background in technology, in the management of technologies, and in them, you know, they have a master degree level, so an expertise. And one very important thing that I have witnessed firsthand is that human connection, that you can hear it from even from video conferencing or telephone interactions. That's also very important in making possible this one-stop service. Dr. Padilla, as you can see from her picture, is a scientist, but she not only is a bright scientist from Puerto Rico, but she's really an expert in her career in finding internships and student exchanges for students. And so she's leading that internationalization effort. And you will see how, by working together with the team, they have created this synergy, and these different platforms, homemade, they are serving these purposes. And like I said, I am really learning from all of them. So it's a great experience for me that I would like to share with you. So this synergy, you can see it in the different academic and student services department. For a while in the institutions, we have segmented efforts. Each one is doing their own thing. But by having this leadership of distance education, we have seen that all the whole institution has come together. And we see, for example, in the picture is Director Soto providing one of the faculty trainings. And we see a lot of participation from the faculty, a lot of support, obviously, from the administration, which is also has played a key role here. So ultimately, the synergy has created what I have called a concept digital communications plan. And this is much more than just your communication plan for marketing. This is really your front face of the institution, what the faculty, what the students mainly see as Inter-American University at Aguadilla. And what they see is a modern institution, not only by their beautiful buildings, but also by their beautiful platforms, which really cater to this digital native student. And they cater to them because they are no longer just a blank web page, very formal and that requires a lot of clicks. They have transformed all of this digital presence into what we can call a social media presence, and especially a mobile presence. Everything that this group produces, it's suitable for use in the students' mobile devices. I think that's key. That kind of thinking of looking at the needs of the student and the technology that the student is using. So we can see kind of a uniformity and in the web pages being developed, in the social media sites, and in the traditional student services that are no longer traditional because now they're heavily supported by these networks and by these platforms. And so the result has been the creation of this new distance education and internationalization department. So we have not only the physical presence of the department, but also we have a presence, a Web 2.0 and social media technologies. So anything and everything that you can think of, this group has produced it for students, and this is the key part. So what are some of the advantages that this concerted effort created? Well, one of the things, of course, is more opportunities for students. In this case, we are growing the number and the quality of the online programs, as well as your hybrid courses. Our courses are fully are very supported by the technology, so they can be considered hybrid or in that technological approach. But also, this department is creating a lot of international opportunities that are available for our students. So we have more student participation both in online courses and internationalization offerings. So I think this combination has been key. They help each other. They really go hand in hand into the new profile of students and Hispanic students, definitely. So we're using these technologies. We're increasing, the number of courses, and we're seeing also that students are growing they're growing the number of credits. We have seen increases in students taking more than 6 credits, even 12 or more credits, and we see that growth. So we're seeing how this new generation, because they're being served with the tools they're used to use every day, now they are adopting online education. I think how we can interpret this growth. And this growth, it's also in the technology offerings. No longer is only offering an LMS, and we do have a very robust LMS, learning management system. In our case, we use Blackboard. But with any other LMSs, they need to be augmented, and other technologies need to be brought into the offerings. So with the expertise of this team, they have created, for example, a YouTube channel. And this YouTube channel, you can see there how it's being used by administrators, by our Chancellor, Dr. Agesilas, our Dean, Dr. Castillo, and also obviously by the faculty in their courses. So these technologies serve a lot of purposes, not only for the teaching and learning process, but also for the services and for administrators to be closer to students and to share what the university is doing and how it's growing and the new offerings especially. Also, the Distance Education and Internationalization Department created a unique internationalization webpage. And this webpage, like I said, like everything else, it's is suitable for mobile devices, but it's also available through Facebook in the social media. So students are constantly reminded of the international opportunities to them, and obviously we have great support for them on campus, but all of the offerings, all of the support is also available in this internationalization webpage. It's very interesting how this came about here, how it was decided that the new distance education department was going to incorporate the internationalization efforts. And this was obviously spearheaded by Chancellor Agesilas, our Dean, Dr. Castillo. And the main point was to really do more with, obviously, like any other institution, with a limited budget, with, as you can see, a small group of people, you know. and they have done wonderful things, and that's why I'm so excited about this experiment that is really helping the institution and especially the students. So they have integrated services, and they have created, for example, they have transformed. This was just a regular classroom, and as you can see now, it's full of technology, which is now very much available, and with a lot of creativity. Like in this team, they use a green background, and they create, for example, in the pictures, they can superimpose images with equipment that is really a computer and software that is not costly prohibitive. And you can see some examples there, how they are really bringing the technologies to the faculty members, into the hands of faculty members, and the expertise of the team, like Josue's and Elvin's and Director Soto, who are teaching faculty that is feasible to use these new technologies to enhance the interactivity in their courses, to make them obviously more attractive for students. That is the key point of using technologies, the pedagogical aspect and how it adapts, and so they are able to create not only great videos. They have video editing in this multimedia studio. They can create podcasts. They can help really faculty realize the potential of multimedia in their courses. So I can see the growth of the online programs, especially the growth in quality, because not only they know the technology, but I see, for example, Professor Bernabé Soto, the director, has a very strong knowledge of educational and distance education theories and instructional design that he's able to share with faculty, and faculty can really see firsthand the possibilities. So I think that this team, they have both the academic expertise, the technological expertise, and very importantly, that student connection, and the support part, which is essential, especially for Hispanic students. Hispanic students are students that they are used to this human touch and these one-to-one interactions, and they really respond to that, and this is what this team also provides to them. And like I said, when the Chancellor Agesilas, our Dean, Dr. Castillo, came up with the idea of creating this new type of department, uh, I believe they did something great, which was integrating the internationalization efforts. And we have seen a big increase of our students, both in Puerto Rico, the US, and other parts of the world, really taking advantage of making others know what they're doing in their courses, and really looking at other parts of the world for their growth. And we see also that they have a lot, our Hispanic students, our Puerto Rican students have a lot to share with the world. And we're very excited at this institution, all of us, and into sharing this with them, and obviously helping our students, our Hispanic students, realizing their great potential. And one of the things was to integrate services to make it easy for them to get the support. And once they get the support, they grow. They see that they are not just a number for the institution. They are the most important part of the institution, and that's the philosophy of the campus of the Inter-American University. And here in Aguadilla, we see this example of this synergy of efforts, and I think that results speak for themselves. So once again, there's the information. You are always welcome, and the team, the whole team, Director Soto and the rest, are always willing to talk to you. And I encourage you not only to contact them, but to also come and visit Puerto Rico and pay us a visit here in the beautiful western part of the island, here at Inter-American University at Aguadilla. Thank you very much for your attention, and like we say in Puerto Rico, hasta luego. Gracias.